A new railway. Thomas stood alone one morning on the work siding. He'd been sent there by the Fat Controller for maintenance in order to be ready for the summer traffic on his branch line. After a few weeks, he was starting to feel rather bored. "I wish they'd hurry up," he muttered. "It's been roughly over 2 or 3 weeks since I've been here." But of course his words fell on deaf ears, for the workmen were too busy inspecting him. "Still," he thought, "I am getting on a bit, I suppose." Thomas had been on Sodor for many years now. He had come a long way since he started his working life, from help build the line, then becoming a station pilot at Vickstown, before helping James the Red Engine to earn his very own branch line. Since then, he now had the help of Percy, Toby, and Daisy, and even Bertie, to make sure the branch ran efficiently as it could. Just then, his driver and fireman arrived. "Seems your test runs are coming earlier than planned," they said. "The Fat Controller's been on the phone. He said that a special's been brought up that's to be taken southeast of here." Thomas was intrigued. "The southeast?" he repeated. "Nobody said anything about a line in the southeast, apart from the Ballyhoo branch." "Well, it seems," said his driver, "someone's planning to open it for traffic as a heritage railway." Some time later, Henry arrived with the goods. Thomas asked him if he had heard about a southeastern section of railway. "I once heard old stories about it," he remarked. "From what I heard, it used to be a goods-only line that was closed during the Second World War, serving a coal mine as well as one that dug out iron ore." Thomas was interested, but his driver interrupted. "Come on, Thomas, we better get started." Thomas marshalled the trucks off Henry's train and set off. He only had to go a few yards before stopping at a junction. Thomas whistled to attract the signalman's attention, and he changed the points to the southeastern line. The first stretch of the line was single, going through open country. Thomas had never seen such a wide open space, and there was only a small village in the distance where his first stop was, and when Thomas pulled in, he felt a strange feeling of nostalgia, as if it felt familiar in some way. Thomas left 2 of the trucks in one of the sidings and went on his way. Now some of the line was double track, and ran for a cutting before he puffed into the junction of the line. Certainly spacious, he thought, looking around. The station had 2 island platforms, a carriage workshop on his right, and a station building on a hill above, accessing the platforms via a footbridge. Ahead of him were 2 double-tracked lines, one to the left and the other to the right, although the right-hand lines didn't seem to lead anywhere at the moment. "Well, well," a voice came. "The well-known tank engine of Sodor comes to the Oakham Road line." Thomas blinked. Standing at the platform in front of the carriage workshop was a small tank engine. He had 4 small wheels and a shape similar to his own, only he had a southwestern look to him. Thank you," Thomas said at last. "And you are?" "Tom, pleased to meet you," the small engine smiled. "My controllers told me all about you." Thomas smiled. "Well, follow me," Tom said. "The new controller's waiting for your delivery." Tom coupled up to Thomas, and the 2 engines set off to the line's headquarters. After a few miles, they rumbled under a road bridge, past a signal box, and into the station. This station had only one island platform connected to the main via footbridge. It had a few sidings, where one led to a cattle dock serving the farm nearby, and there was a fairly sized engine shed. Thomas was impressed. This looks like a really good station. Well, we've been restoring it for at least 1.5 years, Tom replied. Your fat control has been giving us good support in helping us getting the line open again. There's also a private section of line nearby that I haven't actually seen yet. Just then, a fairly sized man in a yellow jacket and matching northern flat cap came up towards the two engines. This was, of course, known to the railwaymen here as the new controller. Ah, good work, Tom, the new controller smiled. And I trust you enjoyed a first-hand view of our line, Thomas. I did, sir, Thomas replied. But how come we've never heard of it? The new controller chuckled. Well, it's quite a story really, he replied. I heard about it from a relative, and with a few people of the local area, we've formed the Oakham Road Preservation Society. Thomas was amazed. But are you going to be only having Tom run the line? He asked. We're expecting our first 2 new engines fairly soon, the new controller answered. Although not from the same company, they're still being brought from the same area. Soon it was time for Thomas to return back to the works. Goodbye, Tom, he called. Thank you for showing me your line. It's been our pleasure, smiled Tom. Hope you come back soon. Goodbye. A few days later, Thomas returned to his branch line, and that night in the sheds, he told Percy and Toby all about the Oakham Road line. That really sounds exciting, said Percy. I really would love to go there one day. So would I, agreed Toby. Well, perhaps we all will one day, Thomas yawned. And personally, I say good luck to them. And with that, he drifted off into a sound sleep.